what I've learned in my job is that, and I'm sure this is true of in any profession, is if you want the organization to be better, you add better people to the organization.
Make him go away.
And they have played so hard and come up with nothing to show for it.
What's up, Mario?
Manny?
This can't be real. No, no, no. Manny, please! I don't care that you couldn't actually speak Spanish! Somebody help me! My keys! My keys! Where are my keys? Let's go, let's go.
What's going on, Canes fans? Another week, another opportunity for the Miami Hurricanes to remain undefeated. But standing in the way is the turnover-creating machine, the Duke Blue Devils, led by the man himself, Manny Diaz.
He's back!
But before we dive in, and let me tell you something, I am beyond hype for this game. This is Mario versus Manny. Manny's return to Hard Rock Stadium. I've been thinking about this game since the very moment that they announced him as the head coach starting in 2024. So do me a quick favor, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel if you're not already. We would love to have you join the family. Come on down. And I'll just come out and say it. So far, honestly, this Duke team has performed above my expectations for them in year one under Manny Diaz. 6-2 is not bad at all, and even though they lost to SMU last week, they took it to overtime and created 6 turnovers in that game. That's right, 6 of them. I know that they barely beat a now 4-4 North Carolina team, but don't forget that they were down 20-0 in that game before going on a run and scoring 21 unanswered points, all while shutting out North Carolina in the fourth quarter of that football game to walk away victorious 21-20. They are second in the country in creating turnovers. You're starting to see a theme here. 14th in sacks per game, 11th in third down conversions allowed, and 2nd in tackles for loss. Obviously, a Manny Diaz-led team is going to be known for creating some chaos on defense. But how's the offense? It's all right. They're led by the big-armed pocket passer Malik Murphy, the quarterback that they snagged out of the transfer portal from Texas. He's thrown for 1,796 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, while completing 58.6% of his passes. And keep in mind, he is definitely not a runner. When I say pocket passer, I mean this dude is a statue back there. But it works out okay because Duke's O-line is solid in pass protection and actually grades out as the 3rd best pass blocking O-line in the ACC. They've also got a pair of really good wide receivers, Moore and Pankel, but Moore has been very limited since he's not been 100% for most of this season. But kicking it back to the Duke defense just real quick, make sure that you keep an eye on their defensive ends and linebackers specifically in this game. They have 2 graduate transfer linebackers that are quite good, especially Alex Howard, who is great at blitzing and has 5 sacks and 10 quarterback pressures. Now, Miami is coming off of an emotional revenge win over Florida State, where Cam Ward actually threw for his lowest amount of yards this season, but the team rushed for 230. And FSU actually did the same thing to Duke's quarterback Malik Murphy, holding him to only 70 passing yards in their game. But let's not talk any more about that because I don't want to give them Seminoles any more airtime.
It's over now.
Miami's offense will have to be on their A game in this one, and it will be interesting to see what the game plan is offensively. I'm guessing that there will definitely be an emphasis on ball security this week. But let's take a quick look at the history between these two teams. Miami and Duke have faced off 20 times in total, with Miami leading the series 15-5. It's not even close. The most recent game, however, was in 2022, and Duke won that one 45-21. I would also like to show you some average stats so far this season for both teams, and just keep in mind that I round these numbers up or down respectively. So coming into this one, average points per game for Duke, 26. Miami, 47. Points allowed against them per game, Duke, 19. Miami, 22. Yards gained per game, Duke, 336. Miami, 561. And yards allowed against them, Duke, 327. Miami, 299. Now, one of the more concerning stats for Duke here, which is not shown on this little chart, is the rushing yards allowed per game, which is a whopping 160. And just to give you something to compare, Miami is sitting at 97. I will also give you 3 keys to a victory for both squads in this game. And let's kick it off with the Miami Hurricanes. Coming in at number 1, I'm sure this will shock you, but keep turnovers to a minimum. Creating them is Duke's bread and butter. Don't give the creator of the turnover chain the pleasure of celebrating one this Saturday. 2 hands on the ball when you're hitting the hole. Cam Ward, if nothing is there, Dawson has talked about the fact that he loves that you're able to extend plays, but if there's literally nothing there and you got to throw it away, live to fight another down. Number 2, better protection from the O-line this week. Duke's D-line will get after it. We all know that. And Cam was sacked 4 times last week against Florida State. Here I go, giving them more airtime. Either the O-line will need to step up, or Dawson might have to focus on Cam getting the ball out quickly in this one. And lastly, pound the stinking rock. Some things never change, and Manny not being able to stop the run is one of those things. Damian Martinez has been picking up steam each and every week and just playing really well. I mean, the man is literally smiling through players trying to tackle him. Just look at him. Next up is 3 keys to a Duke victory in this one. And coming in at number 1, if you do create any turnovers, you need to walk away with some points. Against SMU, Duke actually forced turnovers on their final 3 possessions, but they got 0 points off of them. Number 2, points in the first quarter, and preferably a lot of them. Duke tends to struggle in the first quarter of games, specifically with slow starts and minimal points against P4 teams. FSU was a slight exception for them, but we know that Miami continues to be a second half team. So Duke cannot depend on trying to match Miami's score for score in the third or fourth. They need a lead to lean on. And lastly, depending on the flow of the game, it might not be worth it to attempt field goals, depending on the field position. If you're past midfield and it's somewhat manageable down in distance, I say Duke needs to go for it. Their kicker is 10 of 15 on field goals, 3 of 7 in the last 4 games, and he missed 2 against SMU, and he missed an extra point. I just don't know how much you can trust that guy. And of course, it wouldn't be a preview video without my pick and score prediction for this one. But before we do, let's jump over and see what my dog Max is up to and get his pick first. All right, Max, it's time for your pick. What do you have for the people? It's Duke. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. He goes with the upset here. Manny Diaz getting the best of Mario Cristobal at Hard Rock Stadium. I can't believe it, my boy, but you've locked it in. You know, I'm starting to think that maybe he picked Duke just out of spite because he knows my history with Manny Diaz and this program here at Miami. And he gets so upset every time I do these preview videos because I lock him out of the room. So, you know, there might be more to that, or maybe not. I guess we'll find out, right? We've been tracking our little head-to-head matchup here, my picks versus his picks. And I'm still holding on to that 2-game lead as we both got it right last week against Florida State. Now, I do always like to take a quick look at the ESPN matchup predictor before I give my final score prediction. They give Miami a 90.7% chance of winning and Duke a 9.3% chance. And at the time of filming this video, getting a quick check-in here at FanDuel, they have Miami as a 21.5-point favorite, which I actually thought was a bit surprising. That's a lot of points. And the over-under is coming in right around 54.5 points. With that being said, I'm going to get straight to business here. I'm going to give the Miami Hurricanes 37. Uh-oh. And the Duke Blue Devils 17. So that is a 20-point win for the Miami Hurricanes. So I actually do not have them covering the spread in this one at the 21.5, but I'll be very close to it at 20. I mean, in regulation, Duke held an SMU team that was averaging 40 points per game to just 21. But do we really believe that they can create 6 turnovers again in this game? I think that that's probably highly unlikely. Malik Murphy is a statue. Cam Ward is a Heisman candidate. And it will, in fact, be an emotional return for Manny Diaz, whether he wants to admit it or not. But he'll be leaving Hard Rock Stadium disappointed this Saturday afternoon. 37-17. I think that this can be an entertaining game. We talk about how Duke, any Manny Diaz-led team really, but how Duke has, been creating a lot of chaos and wreaking havoc on defense. They're going to be flying all over the field. I think that their safety, or they're vulnerable at the safety position a little bit. And I think that Miami will be able to pound the rock if they want to do so, kind of like how they did against Florida State. For Duke, unfortunately, it is really, you're going to hear this a lot this week, it is kind of a pick your poison. So Florida State's approach was, take away the passing game, but Miami has some great running backs, and they took care of business on the ground. If Duke says, you know what, we've been struggling to stop the run, let's sell out and let's stack the box and let's stop this Miami run game, you know that Cam Ward can sling it. If they do that, he's going to go for another 300, 350 plus and 4 or 5 passing touchdowns. So what are you going to try to stop? Because there's just no way that you can stop both, in my opinion. So we're going to see, man. It's going to be a fun game. I hope that the Canes fans can show up loud and proud and support the team because it's a noon kickoff, but it's supposed to be a gorgeous day, at least right now. That's what they're saying. And it's Manny Diaz's return, which obviously carries a little bit of extra hype as well. But I'm confident in this game. Duke has impressed me this season with what they've done. Even if they've been scraping by them, they're a resilient team, and they're physical, and they're flying all over the field, and they like to have fun when they're playing. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think I'm crazy. Let me hear your pick. Let me see your score prediction. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one. Hey, who turned out the lights?